I'm here at a community garden to check out hydroponics. There are people here who are kind enough to help me learn more about the technology. I'm going to be volunteering here for the next few weeks to learn more about it. The first site I visited was the Calthorpe Community Garden. It was miraculously only 30 minutes away from my school, so I decided it would be great if I could volunteer there every week after school to learn hydroponics, which is similar to aquaponics. The specialists I met were Caitlin and Diego, who were in charge of taking care of the hydroponics in the centre. Caitlin explained how they use their own fertilizer from the food waste they created from the cafe. They made it using an anaerobic digester. She also told me about how the plants need certain conditions to thrive, and if they did not follow them, they would not get anything out of the saplings. For example, you need to have ventilation so the air around them is always rich in oxygen, and you need to have the saplings not too close to each other, since the roots would get tangled. Also, the amount of nutrition put in the water needs to be very specific and accurate. Also, they found that they needed to have oxygen in the water for the plants to grow as well, and since it was new technology, they were slowly finding out more and more about it. Also, they were finding out the requirements for what was necessary for the plants to grow. They recently applied a misting system this summer since they realized the hot weather was going to dry out the leaves. As you can see here, this is a great way to do hydroponics in a confined space. If you were trying to use hydroponics outside, it would be important to keep monitoring what goes into your water. You need to consider what kind of pH the plant you are growing prefers, and make sure to have water that is not too cold in the barrels. Hydroponics requires clean conditions as well as having air that is not too humid, since they will not be able to release any water into the atmosphere. And this will create mold that grows on the leaves. The air current also needs to be flowing around the area that is around the plant so they can get sufficient amount of oxygen. You also need to be careful not to put any nutrients in the water that will suffocate the plants, or oversaturate the water with nutrients. Use of rock wool is also very popular in the industry. However, this material is not reusable since it is there to support the roots, and it is almost impossible to not rip the white wool while taking out the roots of the plant that is currently growing on it, since the roots are entangled with the wool. The anaerobic digester. Aerobic digestion is the process of which organic matter such as animal or food waste is broken down to produce biogas and biofertilizer. Food waste is funneled into the aerobic digester and into liquid which contains anaerobic bacteria that breaks down the food inside the anaerobic digester. This bacteria is called nitrosomonas. This will break down the food over a course of a few weeks, and it will funnel the made liquid down a tube to be used for gardening around the centre. There will also be methane produced, and you might be thinking this is a terrible idea since it is letting out more gas into the air that is more harmful than CO2. However, this gas is used in the kitchen so that it is turned into less harmful CO2. So we have two uses for something as simple as food waste after some simple decomposing in an anaerobic digester. However, at the moment, banana peels, avocado skins and lemon skins cannot currently be put in the same type of digester as other food waste, since they have unique qualities that mean they require their own type of digester, such as lemon skins being too acidic. They also have solar panels as well. They use the electricity they get from it to keep the temperature steady in the anaerobic digester. There is also going to be a big difference in growing products outside and inside. Outside, there are a lot of factors that can change the state of the hydroponics growing in it. This has to be monitored at least once a week. The one that is used in the garden externally is a pipe that collects rainwater and has saplings on the side of the pipe. Afterwards, the rainwater gets collected in the barrel underneath the pipe, and it gets pumped through the pipe once again and passes the roots of the saplings. The rainwater in the barrel is measured by people every week. Every time I went there, I checked the barrel along with Caitlin, and I found things such as saturation of nutrients in the water, as well as the pH can affect the growth of plants, as I mentioned before. While I was visiting, I measured this every Monday, and it was quite a handful at first, but I got used to doing it. Internally, there were box method hydroponics in one of the greenhouses. There was also another that had sadly been in operation, however it was not operating at the time I had arrived. It was an interesting method though, and I thought it could be very useful in narrow places, since it could be set up on a wall and it wouldn't jar out that much. For this experiment, I did not have that much time, so I decided to choose peas as my plants that I would use for my experiment, since they grow quickly even in the cold temperatures. This way I could meet the deadline as well as see what happens when using this simple hydroponics method. The first thing I did was use coconut fiber as the growing medium for the peas. I soaked the coconut fiber in water, and this provided hydration over a long period of time. Then I put the peas in the coconut fiber. Then I let it grow for about a week before coming back, and then I cleaned out the box for the hydroponics that had been previously filled with the water for the last batch of hydroponics plants with just some bleach and water. If this was a controlled environment, I would not have to clean this box. However, since this tub is out in the open, I need to clean it really well. Otherwise, it won't work if I try to grow another batch of hydroponics plants. You have to clean it if you want to use it. After you clean it, you leave it for a few days, and then you can sterilize it by putting it in boiling water and leaving it for 24 hours. Then you can start the whole process all over again. Here's what I saw when I came back. They had grown significantly and now have grown their main root. Most of them also have smaller roots coming out of the main one as well. They now were developing enough and they were transferred into the hydroponics unit. By pushing your fingers at the bottom of the open bottom pot, you can push up the coconut fiber upwards and easily take out the sapling without damaging it. You then get a netted pot and you put the main root through the holes at the bottom. You should also try to have some of the smaller roots sticking out of the holes in the side of the netted pot, since you don't want them to be suffocated and not be able to get the oxygen in the air for respiration. This is because the equation for respiration is glucose plus oxygen goes to carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. After you put the roots through the holes, you will then put the clay balls into the pot. If there are just some other rocks in there, that is okay. However, the majority do need to be clay balls. Then, put them in the holes. I have to make sure that the roots are touching the water. However, they are not quite long enough yet, so I will come back next week to see if they are touching the water. Something I found out is that peas have a lot of energy stored inside them, so that when they grow a new plant, they do not need much nutrition to help them grow into a sapling, since they already have everything they need inside them already. It's quite extraordinary how fast they grow, even in the winter. This is one of the reasons why I chose to grow the pea. If I had more time, I would have waited to see how the peas would grow, and I would have recorded this on the report. However, since the days are increasingly getting shorter and darker quickly, it has hindered the speed in which the peas grow. There are, however, some leaves that are growing from the plants, and this is a nice garnish to use. I really would have wanted to have some of the footage of the garnish being fully grown. However, this is not possible since there is such a lack of time. However, some of the plants will have fully grown leaves by the end of the week. I will definitely be volunteering in the summer to help out Caitlin with the hydroponics, with my newfound knowledge. Hopefully the crop will be just as good as it was last summer. So, thank you for watching! A big thank you to Caitlin and Diego and all the other people who work in the Calthorpe Community Garden for letting me have such a wonderful experience there. The Calthorpe Community Garden is located near King's Cross Station, so if you're nearby, have a visit. They have a very nice vegetarian cafe and also a nice cozy sitting area where you can chat with your friends, have a small meeting, or just grab your favourite book and sit down and unwind. Moreover, there are sports facilities as well as rooms to hire. And of course, there is the wonderful garden. There are many opportunities to learn by volunteering there. The website link is in the description below. I highly recommend you have a look at it. If you want to learn more about hydroponics and aquaponics, please have a look at my next video. The link is up here. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and then do consider subscribing to my channel as it really does help make the new videos. Also, click or tap the notification bell if you want to hear about my next one. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye bye!